So I have lots of plans. Most of these plans involve covering the Ultimate Universe. Not the new Ultimate Universe, but the original 1610 Ultimate Universe. See, the new Ultimate Universe I would consider to be like the Apple TV Plus of Marvel Comics, while the original Ultimate Universe is the Tubi of comics. And frankly, I enjoy Tubi a lot more, even at their worst. The Ultimate Universe spun out of the last great era for Marvel, the post-Marvel Knights era. Marvel had attempted multiple times before the year 2000 to do a second, more grounded universe to the main one. The first was the New Universe, which because of poor management fell apart rather fast. The Heroes Reborn universe, where they actually removed the original characters from the mainline Marvel universe and put them into a micro-universe for like a year. The only one I've read from that series was Captain America Reborn, where I swear in the second story arc it's focused on Cap stopping Nazis from killing every Jew in Hollywood. The most successful of these side universes was actually the 2099 universe, or Future, which prematurely ended because all the writers went on strike. It wasn't until the year 2000 that Marvel would try yet again, and they picked up-and-coming writer Brian Michael Bendis to do a reboot of Spider-Man. It was an instant success. Then they did Ultimate X-Men. It was not as successful as Ultimate Spider-Man, but it did really good sales-wise. Then they did the Ultimates, and things got real. Despite significant delays with 13 issues taking over 2 years to come out, and possibly being ghost-written by an unpaid Grant Morrison, the series was a success and established a bolder style, tone, and theme to the Ultimate Universe as a whole. The style, 2000s, grounded, darker. Tone, dramatic but filled with a lot of lighthearted comedy to contrast that darkness. And theme, humanity's follies creating heroism to rise humanity up instead of falling down. To keep fighting no matter what the circumstances are. I'd like to return to that theme in a later video, but it's all over the entire universe. The Ultimates was what hooked me in. I gave it an attempted hate read earlier this year, and it was one of my favorite experiences reading a comic like ever. It surprised me with the interesting reinventions of the Ultimate characters. Thor is a crazy guy who believes he's Thor and stole a gravity suit and electric hammer axe. Cap is a broken man, a soldier who's not afraid to kill and is shell-shocked from this new world in front of him. Hawkeye is Bullseye but not pure evil, and Tony Stark is both not an asshole and also has a tumor in his brain guaranteeing him a death sentence. All interesting takes on the characters, come up with mostly by Grant Morrison, but well worked upon by Mark Millar. One of the big elements of the book, and one of the things that makes it interesting, is their mere existence is bad. They create a superhuman arms race existing for an excuse to make super soldiers, and they actually don't have a threat to fight. They spend a month not doing anything, and it is very interesting to read. Not to mention Brian Hitch's art is really cool. It's fantastic, worth 2 years delays. And despite all these flaws, the Ultimates still fight through and save the day. It's a fight to prove the system wrong. After that, I was kind of hooked into discovering the bizarre world of the Ultimate Universe. I read through anything Ultimates related, which includes some quite bad books like The Ultimates 3, and ended up reading about everything released post-Ultimatum. There's a fun curiosity to read these bizarre, bold takes on Marvel characters, like Betsy Ross She-Hulk, Cyborg Lefty Nuke, Catholic Cop Punisher, Wheelchair Psychic the Leader, and of course, the Maker. I stopped reading this summer after I got through Cataclysm. I decided that was enough for now, and then they announced that this new Ultimate Universe is ending, which in the long term is the new ending to the Ultimate storyline, which got me thinking. I've already read so much of the Ultimate Universe. What if I read all of it? So that's what I've been doing. I'm doing a full read through of the 1610 books. The thing is that it's not just the Ultimate Universe. Both the Supreme Power series and Marvel Zombies spun out of it. I've already read all of Supreme Power, and I don't think Marvel Zombies matters that much to what I'm doing, but just know that they're part of it technically. I never read all of Ultimate Spider-Man. I read the Miles stuff because I liked it. I actually liked that version of Miles Morales a lot. And of course I read Death of Spider-Man, but not the main series. Same thing with Ultimate X-Men and Ultimate Fantastic Four. One that will probably be the most difficult is the original Ultimate X-Men run, because I actually don't like any of the takes on these characters in that series. But there's an interesting rogues gallery of writers on there, like Mark Millar, Robert Kirkman, and Brian K. Vaughan for some reason. But I'm over halfway through Ultimate Spider-Man, including the spin-off stuff like Ultimate Marvel Team Up, where it's confirmed that Fu Manchu does in fact exist in the Ultimate Universe. Now, why am I really doing this? Because I can. Also, I have a lot of video ideas and scripts written to analyze this imprint. I was a veteran of the New 52. That's what was big when I was a kid reading comics. The New 52 was definitely a knockoff of the Ultimate Universe in many ways, except it was the new canon. The same high I got as a kid seeing Gorilla Grodd eating brains and the rogues all actually having superpowers and stuff, I get through judging these old imprints, seeing that the Carnage is the Thing and also Peter Parker's dad. Unlike a war Historian for Above Average Comics, New 52 Veteran, Ultimate Marvel Historian, New Ultimate Universe POW. And now with the popularity of the Absolute Universe and the ending of the New Ultimate, I think it's fun to see where it all began, and because I'm a completionist. And also, again, I unapologetically love the Ultimates. They're my favorite version of the Avengers. Go ahead and crucify me. Ultimate Hawkeye is really cool. It gives me like a 12-year-old neuron firing off in my brain. I will say pretty much everything written by Warren Ellis for this imprint is pretty bad. His Fantastic Four run is the least bad, but the Galactus trilogy is particularly tedious. Same thing with Ultimate Hulk and fucking Ultimate Armor Wars. Okay, stuff I want to do. I want to make a full rating list for the Ultimates. I want to explain Ultimate Origins and the biggest, most 2000s twist of the Ultimate Universe. I want to talk about the Ultimate Universe timeline and a couple other things. It might end up being an Ultimate month in the future. And also, the Ultimate Universe isn't just comics, since there were 2 Ultimates prose books and an Ultimate Spider-Man game that were canon to the Ultimate Universe. I already read the first Ultimates novel, and I won't say it's a masterpiece. It's the type of book kids read if they're trying to fulfill like a reading challenge at school or the library, and they want to read something that has like an IP they like, like Star Wars, but it's the Avengers. Right now I'm over halfway through reading all the Ultimate Universe stuff, and roughly 200 issues more to go through. So that's what I'm working on. I'm trying to get this done before the end of the year. So you wish me luck. Now, if you want to know what the best Ultimate book is before I leave, give you a bit of candy, check out Ultimate Wolverine versus the Hulk. It was written by Damon Lindelof with, Lin-El Francis Wu doing the art, which is great, but it took 4 years to come out. Like, seriously, 3 years between issues 2 and 3. Hulk becomes a Buddhist after being executed, and he has his own, harem of Indian women. Betsy Ross becomes the She-Hulk as, a last resort. Wolverine gets his head ripped off, but he still speaks, because it turns out he doesn't have a healing factor. He has a survival factor that makes his body survive no matter what. And Nick Fury arrests Jennifer Walters because she has an early copy of the Star Trek reboot. It's absurd. We used to have real comics. It actually might be the best thing Damon Lindelof has ever made, to be honest. But anyway, I've been Deets. Talk to you later.